Hey there friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Ryan, full-time blacksmith here, Stagecoach Farm and Forge, specialize in making cookware, especially carbon steel skillets. So I got a little collaborative fun project and I'm gonna attempt to use this Baker Forge and Tool billet, which Coy from Baker Forge and Tool was so nice to send me. And I'm gonna try to forge this into a panhandle. So the plan, which I have laid out here, plan A, is to cut the billet in half and then to forge that chunk down into square and then into octagon and then into round. So hopefully that goes well. Before I commit to that, I am gonna cut off a little chunk and just kind of make sure that it seems like it's gonna work before I destroy this whole bar, because there is a chance that the bar could delaminate since there's layers of copper in there. And I really have to watch the heat. It's gonna be a little bit tricky, but I think that'll be fun. And before I even jump into plan B, we're just gonna go ahead and go with plan A. So let's get to it. So you can see there's lots of thin layers of 1084 and then copper. So I'm gonna clean this up, put it in the forge, and hopefully it goes well. So copper melts at like, I think 1930 degrees Fahrenheit. So I can't let it get above that or else it'll just turn into liquid. And it definitely, it could very well delaminate as I'm forging on it. So hopefully this goes well. We shall see, and I'm gonna take you along for the ride regardless. All right, well, like I was afraid of, indeed it started to delaminate quite a bit. It also cold shut with the layers. It just kind of forges down differently than it would if it was like a solid bar. So that's what I was afraid of. And I don't think I want to destroy the whole bar trying it again. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to plan B. So you can see where it started to cold shut, and it kind of wanted to just taco in that way. You can also see where it started to delaminate, which doesn't surprise me because metallurgically, I don't think copper actually welds to the high carbon steel. It just sort of like sticks to it somehow. It's a little bit above my pay grade to understand how that works, but it does work. You just have to be careful when you're forging it vertically like this. So on to plan B. So I've got some bar cut and ground to shape. And basically what we've got now is like some 1/2 inch oval bar with the taper grinded on the end. And so now I can light up the forge and forge the leaf and the handle taper out how I normally do. And I'll just be smashing the layers of copper and 1084 down together vertically and not hitting it horizontally at all. And I think that's gonna work out great. Let's go. This little fig tree here comes in late, which is nice. Because all the other figs are done already. Done and gone. Okay, so here's the two handles, and all went well, except for, of course, on the very end, I was dicking around with my camera trying to get it set up, and I melted the end while I was trying to drift it, so some of the copper oozed out, but I think that will go away once I start grinding it down smooth. We shall see. I got them all ground down to 600 grit. Gonna soak them in the gator piss and do a test etch. It's so fine, it's kind of hard to see in the camera, but in person, it's very crisp and clear. Good morning. All right, day 2, working on the Baker Forge and Tool pan handles. I really like how they turned out with the test etch. I've already got a full day into making these two handles somehow, but I'm gonna keep going because after the test etch, I can see how with just a little bit more grinding, I think I can make that pattern pop a little bit more. So I got some ideas to do some decorative grinding on there before I bend these up and put them on a pan. So let's go. All right, so this is a test dummy handle just to prove the concept. And I think that by grinding in some sort of fullering grooves like that, it's gonna reveal the copper pattern more and give it a little more detail. So I think I'm happy with that. Hopefully it goes well. Eyeballed some rough marks. Let's go. All right, I think that looks pretty cool. Now you can see a lot more interest in the pattern. It reveals the layers and it's gonna look really cool once it's all etched. But before I etch it, I'm gonna go ahead and bend these up, put them in a fly press and get them fit up to a pan. And usually I will fit up the handle and season the pan first, but I think for these, I'm gonna actually season the pan first and then put the handles on so that the seasoning doesn't change the look of the handles. So here in this vintage refrigerator, I got this super fancy pan drying system, and it keeps my pan blanks dry and keeps them from rusting. So I'm gonna get a couple blanks here. We're gonna go with 11-inch, and I'm gonna get these pressed up. This is my rotary phase converter, and this works its magic and gives me 3-phase power. It's the third leg in the 3-phase, which is usually only available in commercial buildings. All right, so I got my tooling all set up for bending the shape on the handles to make them fit up to the pan. And since this is knife steel, 1084 in there, we're working with a whole different beast. This stuff's much harder. And so all we can do is pray to the steel gods that it's still annealed and it'll bend up easy. And more importantly, that I can drill through it easily. So we'll see how it goes. It broke. That's the bad news. The good news is the other one didn't break. Snapped right in half. I guess I should have done it hot. Okay, so this is our seasoning oven. I'm gonna fire it up. So this thing burns hot.